right, welcome back to Rubbin Minds. Now we're going to be talking about the role of women in the new Nigeria. We have a new president who was sworn in on Friday, May 29th, and we're going to be looking at what the role women will be playing in this administration. We'll have 4 years to do that. I have here with me, Ronke Onodeko. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much for having us.
And of course, Aisha Ahmed. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Let's start with you, Ronke, now. President Jonathan was famed in 2011 when he ran for office for his 35% allocation, if I may say, to women. A lot of people had mixed feelings about it. Of course, it was a good thing to do to give women get women more involved in government, but people thought it was tokenism. Is this something you think President Buhari should pursue?
I think so. I think the tokenism, as they call it, was good, but we can do better. We're 50% of the population, and I don't see why we shouldn't have 50% of the share of governance.
Shouldn't qualifications matter more than gender?
I'm definitely not an advocate for just quantity. I want quantity and quality. And I think a good process should be put in place to sieve through the quality of women that exist, because I think there are women who are very capable and women who have what it takes to run.
Yeah.
And not to say that, we don't have women who might even be better than the men that might fill some seats.
With that, I know this is not a fair question to ask, because if you're going to judge women, you might as well judge men. But since we're talking women here, I want to ask you, how do you think the women in the last administration fared?
I think they did. Well, you have to look at the entire administration and look at it collectively. And judge it collectively, and that's what I would say about that. I think, and then just to, continue from what Ronke said about, whether it's tokenism or not, I believe that if you leave 50% of your human capital on the table, what we are losing is the potential GDP that we can generate from those women. So, and it makes sense for women that, so if the population is 50% women, 50% men, you want women to also be part of the decision-making process that actually affects them.
Yeah. A lot of people have talked about, Mr. President cutting down on the number of ministries we have. They say government is too big, which is one of the reasons why we're broke at the moment, because they were paying so many ridiculous salaries to a lot of people. And people have talked about collapsing the Ministry of Women Affairs again into maybe youth development or, I don't know, something else. Is this something you subscribe to?
I probably would be an advocate for that. However, within every ministry, there should be a woman or a group, male or female, advocating and supporting and promoting women issues. So in the Ministry of Works and Housing, I don't see any reason why there shouldn't be a certain amount of contracts that are given to women-owned businesses, women-run businesses, and supporting women in whatever way they can, because we are part of the population. So setting apart a ministry especially for women hasn't really achieved what we want. So it's really having the women's agenda on the table at every point across the entire value chain of governance.
It's interesting that you say that, because I hear a lot of people criticize the Ministry of Women Affairs. Even women criticize it.
I'm not criticizing it.
But what is wrong with the Ministry of Women Affairs? What has been wrong with it? Maybe the ministry might not be a problem, but the way it's been run over time. What is wrong with it in particular?
I think it's more, we should focus more on what the objectives are. And when we have ministries and when we have parastatals and when we have platforms and programs, we should look at what we're trying to achieve with those and see how we can measure the impact. I think that is what is missing, which is what is the objective? How will we know we have succeeded? So I don't subscribe to scrapping anything. It's more around making gender issues more mainstream. So I know we're trying to use policy right now to get people to do the right thing, but you want everyone thinking the same way, both at the national level, at the state level, and across all the annals of public service and private service as well. So it can't be something that you're doing to, make the women happy. It has to be something that
what would an ideal Ministry of Women Affairs be for you?
I think that it should be something that is collaborative, so not only for using government and private sector NGOs such as WIMBIS, for instance, can also partner, because what these women-focused organizations do is that they give you critical input. When you're trying to come up with a program for women, you need to come up with a program that would address the unique circumstances that women find themselves. And it should be robust. So you should have not only policy, you should have training. So gender training, not only training women to be ready to get into the positions that they need to be, but making sure that people are gender sensitive and gender aware. And then you need some reforms in the legislative reform that ensures that women's rights are protected, as well as economic reform to ensure that women are not,
But that's all the things that you're supposed to be doing, actually.
Yes.
But you mentioned WIMBIZ now. Let's talk about WIMBIZ. And I know I mentioned tokenism initially. And WIMBIZ is probably the opposite of that. WIMBIZ stands for women who have achieved in business and have been able to, make a mark without necessarily being given handouts. What sort of message do you want them to learn, government to learn from WIMBIZ?
WIMBIZ is an organization that wants to empower women, showcase women, and actually put women on a platform where they can be seen, heard, and where they can improve themselves. So it's more about the growing of women base across board, across sectors. And more than anything else, WIMBIZ is growing capacity of women for women. So as the women are growing, they're dragging and bringing along a whole lot of other women along with them on a path that's been tested and tried. So it's really for the government to take a leaf from what we're doing and find platforms where women can grow other women. We understand our issues, we understand our circumstances, we can explain it to the greater population in Nigeria. So it's not women talking to women, it's women talking to Nigeria as a whole about women. So we want to talk to the men, we want to talk to the young people, we want to bring them in, we want to collaborate with them to get women to where we're supposed to be in society.
A lot of people tend to misunderstand WIMBIZ, and they see it as this elitist collection of women who are executives in multinationals and the financial sector and whatever sector they are in. And it doesn't necessarily include people in the lower cadre. Is that true?
I'm a lower cadre person.
We don't believe you.
I'm an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I have been in manufacturing. I have been in the oil and gas sector. I've done finance. I've done trainings. I've done teachings. I'm a woman across board. All a woman is that you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a woman in society, and you're a worker. So any woman who fits into that part of society is part of WIMBIZ.
Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. And if you look at our members, our membership, it cuts across, like you said, sectors. It cuts across career stage, so people that are just walking into their careers and people that are chief executives and people that are in senior management. And we also have programs for undergraduates. For instance, one of the programs we have is WeWeek, Winning Without Compromise, where we go to campuses and we talk to female undergraduates and get them ready for work and for life. And when you talk about WIMBIZ, you asked the question, what can the government learn? It's about the breadth of programs that we have. So we're not only just saying you should put more women on boards. We have an initiative called WIMBOARD. It has 4 aspects to it. There's the WIMBOARD Institute, which seeks to get women board ready, so giving them the skills, equipping them with the skills that they need. We have an executive database that collects information about these women, because I'm sure the next thing you ask me is that where will we find the women that we want to put in public service, and we're doing that. And then we also have the executive coaching, which pairs a woman with someone that has already been on board to give her the skills. So it's about, if you have an objective, you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do to make this happen? And that's what we're doing all across.